Alrighty, this'll just be it. This was the second attempt. Because the first time, the phone decided we were out of storage space because technology is getting worse instead of better. So now I have to do it on my computer, like record it on my computer. So, long story short, as a warning in case anybody else is having problems with the Libby app, if you haven't used it because it keeps saying your library card is expired, it's lying to you. Uninstall the app, reinstall it, re-add your library card, and at least if you're having the same problem as I am, it'll be fixed because it was telling me, "Oh, your thing's expired." So, yeah, I literally just uninstalled it and reinstalled it and now it works. So, long story short, I'm borrowing the sample of Platform Decay because everybody, oh, don't push. It's kind of glitching right now. Everybody has been like singing praise from the rooftops for Kevin R. Free's narration of the audiobooks. So I'm like, okay, I will see what his narration is like. And needless to say, it does not even remotely live up to expectations and is kind of absurd. So, as the experiment, I'm going to read like the first 2-ish pages of the ebook. And then we will then I will put on the same amount of the audiobook. And you can look at the difference. And I will read this with the same level of enthusiasm that I read other audiobooks for like LibriVox or just things that are public domain. I will stumble over words probably because I'm not an official narrator who's getting paid for this, and also I haven't read this book enough times to be confident at reading it. I haven't read it at all to begin with, besides for this experiment. But that video doesn't exist anymore because it decided to glitch in half. Anyways, so let's go. Space was okay to look at, but not super fun when you were out in it. And 3 and I were definitely in it, clamped onto the outside hull of a small in-system shuttle. It was just as uncomfortable as it sounds. Obviously, to make this plan work, we had needed a suit. And considering this was the distraction part of the plan that would be taking the brunt of the attention, it was better if it was an armored suit. But it couldn't be 3's actual sec unit armor, it had to be the kind made for humans. Or it had to look like the kind made for humans. We had ended up with an armored suit designed to look like the one that Wilkin and Girth had used back on Milu because someone, Art, thought this part could use some more verisimilitude. Like someone might have researched that incident and think I'd been hauling around one of those shitty sets of armor all this time, or hiding it in my secret rogue sec unit lair, otherwise known as the Port Hotel on Preservation Station, or Art's aft module resident cabin, depending on where I was at the time. I'm not saying that armor design is not a good idea. I mean, that is some quality paranoid overthinking right there. We all have to agree on that. Anyway, even in an armored suit, traveling via clamping onto the outside of a shuttle moving through space was so inherently disturbing, it was a relief when the black hull loomed out of the dark. We were coming up on our target/destination, which was a gigantic space dock attached to an even more gigantic planetary torus. There were multiple docks along the torus's outer hull, but this one was closest to our primary target, which was why we had to go in here. Literally because the thing was so big, and because multiple intel sources had suggested it would be difficult to move around in. Yes, that sounds like the opposite of super fun. There were a lot of other things I would rather be doing. A station that encircled an entire planet had to be huge. And it was huge. From this vantage point, you would have no idea there was a whole planet on the other side of that thing. Over there, somewhere. It was also very old, not a point in its favor. In the few spotlights along this part of the hull, you could see the metal had scrapes or impact marks that had been repaired over time. But what gave the age away were the engraved numbers stretching across the plates next to the various hatch accesses in this dock area. They had been put there for human pilots before bot pilots in the feed were common, as a failsafe for automated approach beacons. The numbers were in 3 different number systems? Languages? What do you call numbers in different languages? Characters or numerals? 3 said. That didn't sound right, but whatever. Okay, that's as far as we'll read for the sample. Now we'll play the same amount of the audiobook sample, which may or may not pause on command because the app is glitching. I don't think it likes. What? What? How are you doing that? It's apparently been doing it this whole time. Okay, stop it. Okay, failing. Stop it.
Any direction vectors because 3 had a visual on the
Okay,
cargo button.
can I?
So I had a visual.
Let me force close. Okay. Okay. Libby does not like me at the moment. This is why I uninstalled it the first time. Okay, can I click on that? Is this the audiobook or is this the book? Now it wants to be slow. Okay, this is the book. The first video I was complaining because this app is very fucking badly designed. Click. Like, it's really hard to tell things apart. Because the one time I borrowed an audiobook by accident when I meant to get a regular book I could just read. And then it was like, no, actually, that's an audiobook. Like, the fact that the only difference between them is there's a little headphone symbol under the fucking things that are audiobooks instead of just making it a completely different icon. Okay, play sample. And now we're gonna skip
In the world.
To
Chapter 1.
Yeah, there we go.
Space was okay to look at, but not super fun when you were out in it. And 3 and I were definitely in it, clamped onto the outside hull of a small in-system shuttle. It was just as uncomfortable as it sounds. Obviously, to make this plan work, we had needed a suit. And considering this was the distraction part of the plan that would be taking the brunt of the attention, it was better if it was an armored suit. But it couldn't be 3's actual sec unit armor. It had to look like the kind made for humans. We had ended up with an armored suit designed to look like one that Woken and Girth had used back on Milu. Because someone, Art, thought this part could use some more verisimilitude. Like someone might have researched that incident and think I'd been hauling around one of those shitty sets of armor all this time, or hiding it in my secret rogue sec unit lair. Otherwise known as the Port Hotel on Preservation Station, or Art's aft module resident cabin, depending on where I was at the time. I'm not saying using that armor design is not a good idea. I mean, that is some quality paranoid overthinking right there. We all have to agree on that. Anyway, even in an armored suit, traveling via clamping onto the outside of a shuttle moving through space was so inherently disturbing it was a relief when the black hull loomed out of the dark. We were coming up on our target, destination, which was a gigantic space dock attached to an even more gigantic planetary torus. There were multiple docks along the torus's outer hull, but this one was closest to our primary target, which was why we had to go in here. Literally because the thing was so big, and because multiple intel sources suggested it would be difficult to move around in. Yes, that sounds like the opposite of super fun. There were a lot of other things I would rather be doing. A station that encircled an entire planet had to be huge. And it was huge. From this vantage point, you would have no idea there was a whole planet on the other side of this thing, over there somewhere. It was also very old, not a point in its favor. In the few spotlights along this part of the hull, you could see the metal had scrapes or impact marks that had been repaired over time. But what gave the age away were the engraved numbers stretching across the plates next to the various hatch accesses in the dock area. They had been put there for human pilots, before bot pilots in the feed were common, as a fail-safe for automated approach beacons. The numbers were in 3 different number systems? Languages? What do you call numbers in different languages? Characters or Numerals, 3 said. That didn't sound right, but whatever.
Okay, my first comment is on Libby, I am listening to a book that's called Shield of Sparrows because they had it available. And I want to see what other modern people are writing. And my first comment is the main female person who narrates the female main character in that has the exact same accent and like type of inflection as Kevin R. Free. I don't know what accent that is, or if it's some like audiobook narrator for these kinds of books thing, but it's a very specific accent and inflection. Kind of turns everything into a question, but not quite. Second commentary is, that's so boring. That's the kind of audiobook narration that makes people think. That's the kind of audiobook narration that makes people think that audiobooks are boring and dry and will put you to sleep. There's no effort being put in there, and the full audiobook costs $20 to buy. Third comment, being in space is so inherently disturbing, and then we just have to use our imagination for that, even though why would it be inherently disturbing for Murderbot? Murderbot doesn't need to breathe. It doesn't mind the cold. Why is being in space inherently disturbing for Murderbot? Why are we just supposed to... Huh?
Who hates planets?
Yeah, Murderbot hates planets. Why would being in space be inherently disturbing for Murderbot? Like, again, Martha Wells just is forcing us to use our imaginations to imagine that she had written a better book. When that's not our fucking job. That's literally her goddamn job. Third thing, there's literally so many parentheses, including parentheses within parentheses, in just these first 2 pages. Like, let me click it again. I have to search it again. All the way. In what I read there's... Okay, click. Whoop, wrong button. I'm clicking the wrong buttons. In paragraph 3, we have 1, 2, 3 sets of parentheses in the third paragraph on page 1, and one of those parentheses is inside the other. Paragraph 4 then consists of a new parentheses. Paragraph 5 doesn't have any. Paragraph 6 has another. Paragraph 7 has another. And that's as far as we read. But like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, literally 6 parentheses within the first 2 pages of the ebook with the text small. I don't know what that looks like in the physical copy of the book, but that is fucking ridiculous. And also the structure of these sentences. Okay, obviously this is starting in the middle of the fucking story because Martha Wells was too fucking lazy and is too bad at writing to have done a start to the fucking story. She's not giving us any exposition. She's just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna drop you in the middle because media res, that makes it automatically good, right? No, it doesn't. Also, we're implying that a lot of fucking time has passed because in Murderbot's reference to its rogue secret sec unit lair, it references the Port Hotel on Preservation Station, where we have never seen Murderbot stay, and Art's aft module resident cabin. That's also a shit ton of corporate speak. Again, it's never ironic. It's just genuine, because it's bad writing that just wants to fill out the amount of pages. So we're implying that Murderbot, we have had some kind of fucking massive time skip where Murderbot is constantly going back and forth from Art to the Port Hotel on Preservation Station. Like, what? How much fucking time has passed? What is happening? And also, like, why are we saying that Wilkin and Girth's armor was shit? It literally saved their lives multiple times. Also, why?
Who that is?
Yeah, my twin doesn't even remember who they are. And why are we calling the armored suits, and I quote, some quality paranoid overthinking? Why are we calling it that? It's literally fucking functioning as intended. It wasn't paranoid overthinking. It was literally fucking working. Because if you probably don't remember, but that was the book where the people were being attacked by scary, inherently evil combat robots that Martha Wells wants us to think are inherently evil and are doing all of this shit of their own free will, even though they are literally slaves. But, like, literally, the fucking armor that Wilkin and Girth, the people were wearing, literally was working. It wasn't overthinking. They weren't stupidly overcomplicated. I don't know why we're insulting the fucking armor. Like, it didn't literally do its fucking job. It doesn't fucking make sense. And also, like, the sentence where the numbers were in 3 different number systems, it's really fucking weirdly written. The punctuation is the numbers were in 3 different, and then M dash number systems question mark languages M dash what do you call numbers in different languages, comma characters, or M dash and then numerals 3 said. But Murderbot isn't saying any of this shit out loud. Are they fucking Jedi mind melding? Are they mind melding right now? Because Murderbot.
3 is just reading Murderbot's mind.
Literally. Like, I hope to fuck that's a goddamn plot point that they are Jedi mind melding right now because.
Riding each other's feeds.
No, we're just calling it Jedi mind melding. Because Murderbot's not. This is not dialogue. This is just prose. This is what Murderbot is thinking. Like. And it's not even 3 has just poked me and said that the word I'm looking for is numerals. So I'm going to write that down even though that doesn't sound right. We're not even like narrating as though this is actually being written down after the fact, because we're supposed to pretend that this is journal format even though it's not.
3 saying it in the feed. It's just it's just in italics. No,
yeah, it's just in italics. Numerals, 3 said.
Oh, here's my comment. Aim that microphone this way. Did you notice how we're lampshading and making fun of the book series that you're reading currently by making fun of the fact that the covers have lazily been completely beautifully drawn, but completely and utterly generic and having nothing to do at all with the actual plot of the books because they show Murderbot wearing armor that it has not had since book 1? Did you notice that we're lampshading that shitty ass fact?
Now it's actually wearing the shitty fucking armor.
And this is what we're using to introduce the entire fucking book. This is the introductory
narration. Show me a picture of the cover. I already put my phone back in battery saving mode, so I'm too lazy to open the Libby app. So, yes, Martha Wells, instead of just hiring people to make covers that make fucking sense and actually show the... Yeah.
That are actually
good catch. So Martha Wells, instead of simply getting people to make covers for her book that actually depict scenes in the book, because all of the covers for this series have been completely fucking nonsensical, that don't show anything from the book even remotely, because Murderbot has never had access to this fucking armor that it is always depicted in English covers at least, since book 1. But Martha Wells keeps commissioning people to draw covers where it's wearing it anyways in situations that physically don't fucking make sense and are not scenes from the book. Not even like dream sequence scenes or anything like that, because Murderbot doesn't dream. At no point does it ever actually hallucinate. There's like no excuse for it. So now, instead of Martha Wells just getting people to make her covers that show scenes from the book, she's just working backwards from the generic fucking cover, because they're all completely generic. It just shows a figure in fucking armor just floating, usually, with nothing to do with anything. So she's working backwards from the generic fucking cover, which begs the question, which came fucking first? Did somebody just get paid one-time fee to draw a bunch of generic space figure in a goddamn spacesuit in space, and then these people are pretending, yeah, it's Murderbot from the Murderbot Diaries, because like, why do none of the covers even remote? There's nothing even like symbolic about the covers. There's no symbology going on here. Symbolism going on here. Wombology? The study of Wumbo? It's first grade SpongeBob.
There's also like 3 covers for 8 official books that involve spacewalks. And I don't think any of the books that show a spacewalk on the cover involve a spacewalk.
Yeah. Network Effect being the... No, that is the cover.
There's a new cover.
Oh, there's a new... Okay. Apparently Network Effect has a brand new cover for some fucking reason.
Probably a collector's edition that costs $100.
So they added actual colors.
Yep.
Is it supposed to... Hold on. We're looking at it now. Is it in the trans pride flag for more queer baiting? Because zoom out again. Trans pride flag in the abstract. It's a picture... No, because it's blue, and then the ship's pink, and then that flare from the ship is white. Whitish. It looks like a trans pride flag in the abstract. So that's more queer baiting, because there are literally 0 trans characters in this series. Like, sure, that's a thing that happens in Network Effect, but like, that is far... Exactly. That's completely inconsequential. Why don't we show literally anything else? Well, I mean, the answer to that is not enough happens in Network Effect for any of it to... That's Amina.
Okay.
None of it is consequential enough to put on the cover, so they just have to pick random spacewalk thing, and the helmet doesn't even fucking match. The helmet is literally not even the same. Look at that. Look at those. We're looking at them side by side. Just go to Network Effect on Goodreads and look at the cover, and then look at the cover for Platform Decay. The helmets don't even match.
The fucking Apple TV aesthetic?
No.
Wait, no.
I don't think so. Because that has that swirly thing.
Do either of these match the helmets?
Do they?
The first 2 books?
Yeah, now we're looking at the covers for... I mean, I do have them in the cupboard over there, but this is faster, probably. And I don't think so, because that one has like a little hood thingy at the bottom.
This one almost shows a face in there.
Yeah, like all of these covers...
There is literally a face in there that has big nose. It's visible, just barely.
If you say so. I'm pretty sure that's meant to be a reflection. Yeah, that's not even the same fucking thing, because look at the pauldrons. Those are completely different sized pauldrons. Literally, like...
I like that there's no legs.
Are we sure what... This is Tor we're talking about. Was that AI generated? Because, like, look at the building.
This came out before AI.
Are we sure about that?
This is book 2's cover.
Okay. Yeah, like, none of these covers ever mean anything. Because Artificial Condition shows Murderbot standing out on a ledge in space, and then art is somehow there. I mentioned this in one of the live readings, but, like, the cover is completely fucking meaningless. None of these are scenes from the books. But now, and art is supposed to be super far away. I went over all of this in the live reading videos. But, like, yeah. My twin has pointed out, literally, so now we're working backwards from the nonsensical cover instead of just making a cover that depicts the actual story.
And
so
we're not working backwards from the cover. She's specifically choosing to open what's going to be the second to last book in this entire series with making fun of the covers. And that's how we're being introduced to this thing. Yeah, Oh, it's so fucking stupid. Do people think I've been hauling around that shitty armor this whole entire time?
Why don't you, instead of complaining in the book to your fucking audience, why don't you just, while not giving us any fucking actual exposition, like writers are supposed to be able to fucking do, instead she's just complaining that the fucking covers are stupid, but she also doesn't get to complain about that because the reason she has let them keep doing this is for plausible deniability. She doesn't want them to actually draw Murderbot without the fucking armor, because then she would either have to admit that she's a fucking liar and was just telling people that Murderbot is a dark-skinned person of color, to literally diversity bait, or she would have to actually commit to Murderbot actually being a dark-skinned person of color, and she doesn't want to fucking do that. That's why Murderbot is always in the fucking armor on the covers. Martha Wells, authors don't always get to choose what's on their fucking cover if they work for these people, but, you can fucking fight for it. Martha Wells hasn't ever done anything, and explicitly she's never put it into writing on purpose. Because she's a fucking racist who wants plausible deniability. That's literally, you've heard of queer baiting. Now get ready for diversity baiting. And diversity is the word that she uses herself. Not representation, just diversity in an interview from fucking, I can't remember, 2016. Before it even came out. And it's, you can tell from the way she and the interviewer use the word that they don't actually give a fuck about the people that they're supposed to be representing. They just view us as diversity points, literally. And that's why Murderbot is always in the armor on the covers, and that is why Martha Wells has never actually told us what Murderbot's skin color is in the books, even though that's basic fucking information that could be put in literally anywhere. The reason she doesn't do it is that she wants to diversity bait. She will tell people on her blog and on interviews and shit, oh yeah, Murderbot, yeah, it's totally a person of color. It's definitely got dark skin. Yeah, for sure. Then she won't put that in the book though, because she wants all of the white supremacist readers who misgender her protagonist and view it as white because they are white and think white is the default. She wants to keep them on board because she does actually want them, because they are the people who will immediately defend her against any and all criticism. Your computer just did something.
Yeah, it's the drivers for the graphics checking for an automatic update.
Okay, in the middle of you doing stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does that once a day.
Yeah. That's okay. I'm fucking sleepy for reals, but that's why Murderbot is always in the armor. It's for plausible deniability, so that Martha Wells can literally tell us in interviews on her blog, tell us that Murderbot is a person of color. She's totally not racist. She totally doesn't view white as the default. Look how tall he is.
Mm-hmm.
He's so cute.
He's taller than the box of trash bags.
You want to come here?
There's also just a complete and utter lack of actual creative vision when it comes to these books, because it also applies to the books of the Rex era, where the covers are equally as completely irrelevant, and they don't even match the characters, the scene, and they don't even look like what the characters are actually described as in the book. That's completely and utterly irrelevant. It's somebody else's cool, random creature design. It doesn't even match her actual fantasy characters, and it's a fucking disgrace. Hire somebody who actually goes off your actual description, and that also requires you to actually describe them in detail.
Literally, the cover for, I think it's The Serpent Sea, you can just look that up to make sure I'm talking about the right one. The scene that is being shown on The Serpent Sea almost matches an actual scene from the book, but the cover...
That's the siren.
Oh, this... why are they both starting with S for no fucking reason? The Serpent Sea and the Siren Depths, why do they both have to do with fucking water?
Why are those titles equally
Literally the Siren Depths, which is a barely fucking passable goddamn thing, and sounds like it should be a title for a fucking kids novel. Like, that doesn't. When you scrolled, scroll up. I was thinking, okay, that's Moon right there, right? I was thinking that's Moon. Okay, it literally doesn't fucking make sense because
Who are they holding?
that's a random groundling. You know, the other with a capital O. No, that's a random groundling. Doesn't have a name, doesn't actually matter. They're just, the literal other. We call them groundlings because they suck. The cover for the Siren Depths.
This is for the third book.
This is the third book. And, like, we have never been given proper descriptions of the Fel or the Raxura. But, like, from what we were told, this scene is like fucking backwards because, okay, the whole thing about Moon, the main character, is that his scales are black. And the only reason for that is so that Martha Wells could make her bad guys all have black scales because they are evil and disgusting and literally stink, and they're rapist cannibals and literally any other goddamn racist caricature you can think of. So on the cover, we are being shown one person with black scales who looks pretty fucking skinny. And there in the foreground, just holding the face menacingly of a random humanoid that's just called a groundling because Martha Wells really likes dehumanizing people that are not the protagonist by literally naming them, like how J.K. Rowling calls people muggles. Martha Wells always comes up with a way to just casually dehumanize and insult and degrade the people that are not the protagonists. In the books of the Raxura, we call them groundlings. In the Murderbot Diaries, it's usually referred to as humans, referring to generic humans, but except for the special the special ones who are cool because they're slave owners. And in Witch King, it's mortals. Like, there's always a named other that's not as cool or important and doesn't actually matter. I'm sorry, I'm looking at that fucking hand. Is that hand on that supposed Raxura, is that 4 fucking bird talons on that hand? Zoom in. Well, this is darker. Okay, no, there are 5 fingers. I'm holding the book now and it's okay, this no, there is another claw back there. It's just not well done. And I think the claw is going into the hand.
This one shows like they have hands split almost like
it's supposed to be going like this really awkwardly. The art is not good. But we can't blame this on Martha Wells because I don't think Martha Wells, the green shirt flying lady that's not even the right fucking color and is also just a photoshopped shitty person.
That was for the audiobook in particular.
Okay. Like,
is that Jane?
this, it literally, who the fuck is that? Look up the cover for The Serpent Sea by Martha Wells. Those characters, those are not characters in this goddamn book. We have our main character. He's supposed to have black scales. He's supposed to be super fucking skinny because they're built like birds. So they got hollow bones and they're tall and skinny because Martha Wells is fat mystic, but we pretend otherwise. The characters are supposed to be skinny. He's supposed to have black scales so that he can be mistaken for the actually evil, ugly, rapist cannibals who are stinky and have protruding jaws and are gay. That's what makes them evil, the fact that they're gay. I'm not joking. That's literally, like, she literally made them evil, gay rapists. And it wasn't until book 3 that the character Moon is suddenly in a relationship with a man that he has never once expressed any sexual or romantic interest in whatsoever, and we literally get told that the other guy wouldn't say no, or wouldn't take no for an answer.
These books are flip-flopping back and forth on whether or not they have 4 or 5 fingers. She's only got 4.
I mean, is the artist? I don't think the artist is the same person. One thing we were told about the Fel is that their wings have plate armor, and then we're like looking at this fucking cover. It's like the guy who's supposed to be the good guy in this scene is in the background, and that looks like what I would call plated fucking scales on the wings and shit. And also, not black scales. That we don't, like, the colors are purple and orange from the sunset, but, like, that doesn't magically transform black to that shade of fucking yellow in the highlight.
Here, they're full brown.
Yeah,
Which is
literally,
physically impossible for the flying guys to have.
literally, like, the stories of the Raxura cover, that's clearly supposed to be Moon, because it's finally fucking skinny enough, but, like, he's brown. He's not supposed to be brown. He's supposed to be fucking have black scales. This isn't even black with some bronze highlights. This is just actual fucking brown. And with like a red tint to it, and it's like
he's also got his little bag. His little
we're just going on a tangent now, complaining about the book covers, but like they don't even have the goddamn tail properly. But, like, I don't think she could control this shit for the books of the Raxura, but, like, again. No, not on the laptop! Not on the laptop, we're recording! Don't do that. Martha Wells, it's not just the book covers. Like, the book covers are absolutely helping her exploit the diversity baiting fucking tactic, but, like, again, maybe she doesn't control the book covers. She controls what she fucking writes, and what she has refused to write for 8 years now, and 13 plus stories, is what Murderbot's skin color is. This should have been established in book 1. Should have been established in book 2. Why do you look so alarmed, little kitty? You're just like looking over here, looking so alarmed. Why are you trying to take everything?
Is this Jade on this cover,
Who
or
the
is
fuck
this Consolation?
knows?
Who the fuck is
knows?
this?
They don't have fucking hair. Where did she get that luxurious fucking hair from? She sure as hell wasn't.
Like, if this is Consolation,
why is she bluish? None of the books of the Raxura covers even remotely make sense. But again, Martha Wells could just tell us at literally any point what Murderbot's skin color is within the story, and she refuses to do that for plausible deniability. It's because she's racist. And she wants to continue courting the racists, and she wants their fucking money. But she doesn't actually...
Murderbot's pronouns because she doesn't want to alienate all the people who call it him.
Literally. The reason that she doesn't... the reason she didn't establish Murderbot's pronouns clearly by simply having Murderbot actually get to use some bodily autonomy and speak up for itself and state its pronouns, is that she doesn't want to piss off the people who misgender it and have been misgendering it for 8 fucking years now. By calling it he, mostly. Some of them will pretend to be progressive about the misgendering and say she, or maybe they. Pro tip, you can't progressively misgender someone. That's not how this works. She doesn't have Murderbot just tell anybody its pronouns because she wants to get the people who misgender her fucking main character to keep giving her money. Because she doesn't actually want to write a story that properly represents non-binary and trans people in any way. She just wants money. She doesn't fucking care if she has to stereotype us. She's happy to do so. Anyways, I'm sleepy. Bye-bye.